All right, good evening, everyone. This session is all about Moodle quiz and Gradebook. I'm going to start this demonstration in another 2 minutes because, sorry, we'll give 1 more minute for the participants to join. We've got a good number of crowd today. We have got almost 62 people joining from various locations. And I really appreciate and thanks everyone who has joined for this session. Just see for 1 more minute and then we'll start. Just to confirm, if everyone has, those who have joined and those who can hear me well, can you click on the raise your hand button? If you can hear me well. All right, thank you so much. Thank you for the confirmation. So we'll start now. As you can see, this session is all about Moodle quiz and Moodle Gradebook. It's a bit lengthy topic, but since we are all starting with the assessment part, I wanted to take this together because this goes hand in hand. If you wanted to do a quiz and if you wanted to create multiple assignments channeled to the students, and then you should really know about the gradebook. So that's why I combined these 2 topics together. What I'm going to do today is, these are my objectives. I'm going to demonstrate to you how to create a quiz, setting up a gradebook in MYGMU portal to avoid any kind of middleman. So what I mean by that is, I don't want students to get confused, or we don't expect the students to get confused with the gradebook. So how well we can set that and how to create quiz. So these are the objectives I'm going to cover in this session. This is the plan which I have made for the session. We're going to spend 30 minutes straight on the Moodle quiz part, and then the 30 minutes for the gradebook setup, and followed by that we have the Q&A of both things. To have a smooth session at any point of time, if you feel or if you wanted to ask some questions, please post your questions. I really request you not to put any comments like audio issues and things and stuff. That will not help me to address the questions towards the, at the Q&A. So if you have any questions, just type the questions along. That will be the best way to have a smooth session. All right, to begin with, I've got a sample course here. So the course name is Information Technology. I've had a few things just to showcase you the gradebook setup. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with the quiz part first. I've got a few examples here, and let me just give you an orientation about how I'm going to proceed with this. So the current window, which you see here, is a faculty view. And I have another view, which is like a student view, which I'm using in the Google Chrome. So this is a student, Mr. Surya Sebastian. Okay, of course, that's me. So that is acting as a student for this demo. And the admin, LMS admin, is acting as a faculty. Because I wanted to orient you before I start the session so that you should understand from both the views or both the sides, like how the student sees it and how the faculty can design it. That's the reason I'm creating 2 users, or I have added 2 users here in this session to make it more clear for you. All right, so let's start with the quiz creation. So as we all know, when you come to the Moodle page, what you would see is the page like this. Without any settings, without any kind of edited mode on. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click on Turn Editing On. When I click on Turn Editing On, I will get to see the page for adding resource and activities. In some courses, it would be like club together. In some courses, like what I have, it is a split. So I'm going to click on add an activity. So inside add an activity, I will find the option called quiz. So once I start or once I select the quiz, my screen changes to the mode where I can add the details about the quiz. So in this case, I'm going to give it as class test number 3. So I'll just keep the name class test number 3. And if you wanted to describe the exam, or if you wanted to describe how the quiz is going to be, you can describe it here. There are two ways of giving description. You can give the description right here itself, and also I'm going to talk about later sometime how to give information to the students before they start the exam. So the description which you give here will be visible for the students before they start attempting the quiz. So I'm going to say this is an concurrent taxes, or this is class test 3 on the topic, etc. So I'm just giving the information about what it is. If you wanted to describe how the quiz is administered, that also can be given by you in this particular description. The next is the timer. So if you click on the timer, or if you go to the timer, you have option to say when to start the quiz, when to close a quiz, and what is a time duration, or what is a timer limit which you can set for the quiz. So let me just give you a clear idea about these 3 things. The first one is very straight. You can say that, okay, I wanted to open the quiz on April 7th and so on so time. That's very straight. The quiz close time is again straight one. Now, only a place where most of us get confused is about the time limit. So the time limit is, let's say I have a student who's going to take the quiz from 6 and he should stop at 7, or a batch of students who are supposed to take an exam on today, April 7th, from 6 to 7. And this quiz has got only 5 questions, or let's say 10 questions. So I don't want my students to spend whole 1 hour attempting the quiz. So what I want them to do is I want them to finish in a particular time duration. So the quiz will be available for people from this time to this time. But if you set up a timer, let's say that my quiz is going to be stopped at 15 minutes. So what happens here is it will close the exam after 15 minutes from the second the student logs in, or from the second the student start the quiz. So it will be available for the students from 6 to 7, or you can set it at, okay, I want this to be kept for a week. So here in this case, I say that the quiz opens at 7 and it closes on 7th of April, and it closes at 14th of April at 7 p.m. But the moment when the student hit on the start exam or start attempt, then they have only 15 minutes. So this is the timer, and this is the open and close functionality. Now, always make sure that this is checked. Don't change anything over here, because you're not going to give any grace period. You want the students to complete exactly on the time duration. So don't make any changes. Because why am I emphasizing on this point is sometimes I get calls from the faculty saying that some students didn't submit it and it's still progress. That could be because this was not selected, or there might be some error when you that might have happened when you created the quiz. So this is by default active, but you should ensure that like now don't make any changes here. So that's something which is very important. Now, going straight to the grading part. In the grading part, you don't see any category. I will talk about this later after I complete the second session. So this is not a good practice. What I always used to recommend the faculties or who used to come to me to see how the quiz can be set, I used to tell you that you should set the grade book first, and then only you start adding assignments or quiz. So the reason why I tell you this is because the moment when you pause the quiz inside the page, yes, it will be very much available for the students to take the exam or to take the test. But if that same student goes to the grade and see what grade have got for the exam or what grade have got assignments, if you don't properly organize the grade book, then it's going to be a very much confusing phase for them. So let's talk about that, but I just wanted to mention a few things about it here. The grade to pass is a beautiful function, which you can keep it here at this point of time. In this case, I'm going to say that the student should get somewhere around 6 marks. This is again not a mandatory. It is up to the faculty members. If you wanted to keep as a criteria, you can do that. The number of attempts, if you wanted to give it as unlimited or one, depends on your need, you can do that. And if you're giving a kind of multiple attempts, then the system will tell you how do you want to calculate the value. Do you want to take the highest? Do you want to take the average, first or last? So you have got multiple options here. In my case, I'm going to stick on to one. The layout part is something which is very important. We used to create quizzes, and then what we used to tell us, like, okay, every question should be in the separate page. That's this option. You can keep quizzes in separate pages, or if you wanted to put club 2 or 3 questions into a single page, you can do that as well. So that can be done even while you're creating the question items also. So for the time being, you need to stick on to the every question is in a new page. And this is where the sequential mode of quiz can be applied. By default, we have set the method of navigation as free. So what does that mean? If the student starts the exam, if you wanted to jump from 1 to 10 or 10 to 11 and then come back to 1, that's a free navigation. Whereas if you activate the sequential mode of navigation in the quiz, if the student start the exam and then he will see the question number 1, and then once he select the next button, or once he clicks on the next button, the question number 1 is going to be completely freezed. He will not be able to change question number 1 at any cost or at any circumstances. That's sequential mode of quiz. So the free is he can come to any question anytime and then make changes. The sequential is if he moves from page 1 to page 2, the question 1 to question 2, he cannot make any changes. So if a student is not answering a question also, in this case, for example, I'm a student, so I go to the question paper and I see the question number 1. Then I said, okay, let me come back to later. I mean, let me come back to this question later, and then I just clicked on next. When he comes back later, and if he clicks on the question number 1, he will not be able to see an option to give answer. So if you are planning to use a sequential method of navigation, you should give a clear instruction to the student that every page is going to be freezed when you press the button next. I hope that's clear. So that's a free navigation. Question behavior, we're not going to make any changes, but we have to make sure that it is always shuffled. So the question will be jumbled from one student to the other student. There is no attempt which is required. So these things are not applied because in my case, I'm going to just have one time answering the question. So next is the review option. So the review option remains same because you don't want to give or you don't want to give answers during the exam. If you wanted to give a review to the student, you can say when the quiz is closed, they can see attempts, they can see whether it's correct, specific feedback, general feedback, the right answer, and overall feedback. I strongly recommend you to do this after or in this particular section, because what happens is this will be displayed, that is the functions which I have activated here will be displayed only after 14th of April at 7. So If you do this in the other way, say later when the quiz is still open, so once I complete, I get the answer. So there's a probability of sharing the answers with other colleagues by students. So if you say that this is going to be closed, this is going to be displayed to the students only after the closing of quiz, that's a beautiful function. Appearance, you don't have to do anything over there. It's all about the default settings will do the job. Now, next part is as good as our navigation. So to prevent multiple computer logging at the same time, you need to activate this option. And if you go to the show more, there is a functionality called browser security. So if you activate the browser security, what's going to happen is at any cost, student cannot copy anything from the page or paste anything to the question. So to make it clear, let me bring the student back. So in this question, or in this exam, class test 2, I have activated the browser security. Okay, so what happens here is when I select, I'm trying to select something here, but it is not allowing me to select anything. And when I right click on it, it says that the functionality is currently disabled. That's because I have activated the full screen pop-up with some JavaScript. So by doing this, I'm preventing my students to copy and paste something from internet. For example, I have got a fourth question, which is an, sorry, I think third question or something. I think it's, sorry about that. Just give me a second. I think in this test 1, to demonstrate to you, I had kept a kind of SAQ question. Yes, this is a SAQ question. So here, since I have activated the browser security, student can type here. He's free to type anything here, but he cannot go to any window. Let's say I'm going to copy something from Google. So let's say that I'm going to copy this words, and then when I come back to the test, and when I try to paste, it says that this functionality or this is disabled because as a faculty, you have said that the full screen pop-up browser security functionality is activated. So this is again something which you can beautifully add it to your course to avoid kind of copying and pasting. I will demonstrate the blocking, and I will demonstrate the sequential with the real quiz which we are doing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a password 1234 to my quiz. Please make sure that the password is given only in this particular text box. This is for the network address, because sometimes I used to get calls saying that the quiz is not accessible for the students. The reason for that is annoyingly, we sometimes copy the password here also. So please do avoid that. Just copy the network address. Sorry, don't copy your passwords in network address. Keep your concurrent block opened, and then let's go straight to activity completion. So I had got some questions from faculty members asking like, how do we calculate the attendance? As far as I know, the easy way to do it is activity completion. So you say that the students must receive a grade, or students must view, or students must complete all the available attempts. So if you activate this functionalities according to your need on a specific date, then you can mark the attendance. So this is a kind of activity completion tracking in your courses. So this will be a best and easy method to do it. So let's do a kind of quick, again, a recap about what it is. So you give the title, you describe about how you're going to do the quiz, you set up the open date and close date, you give the timer, and then you go straight. Okay, we spoke about something about the category here that will come back once the gradebook is set. And then here we said that and if you go to the layout tab, you will find the navigation method. So it shouldn't be free. It should be a sequential. So what happens if it's a free navigation? So this is how it is going to happen. So the student can come back to any question at any point of time. So this is the navigation. This is a free navigation. There is no problem. He can go to the next page. He can come to the first page. So it won't. It won't stop him. So this is free navigation. And with the example of current quiz, I will show you the sequential navigation. And then we went straight to the extra restriction. So the extra restriction, the first extra restriction is the password. And the second is the browser security. And the third one is concurrent access blocking. And then followed by that, we just saw about activity completion. So you can choose your functions, or you can choose whatever you wanted to keep as activity completion. So in my case, I'm going to say that the students must get a passing grade, which is 6, and then he should complete all the available attempts. So after doing that, I click on save and display. So once I click on save and display, it gives me a window where it will ask me to edit quiz. So if you go to the button edit quiz, it gives you option to add question. So in this case, to make it easy, I'm going to import some questions from the bank. And to demonstrate some concepts, I'm going to use some inserting new questions manually. So first method, how do I insert a question manually? If I go to the quiz, option new question, it will give me this window. So these are the different types of questions we have. And then we have something called description. So if you wanted to describe the pattern, or if you wanted to describe how the quiz is administered as a description as a first page, you can add it as a first question. It is not a first question. It is a first page that appears to the student. So I'm going to say instructions. Okay, here you can give instruction what you're supposed to do. So you can say this is a sequential based exam. Based sequential mod exam. So you can type whatever you wanted to type it as here, and then when you click on save changes, so this is going to be the first page that's going to appear for the students. Okay, and so if you ask me how to add an SAQ question, so those are new. You can find an option called essay here. So if you add essay, that will be a short answer question. So when you open the short answer question, you can give the name for the question. So I'm going to say SAQ1. I'll say what is. Okay, so this is the question. I can give a default mark. So if it's a for 5 mark, you can give 5 marks. And then if you wanted to the student to like 5 lines, 15 lines, 10 lines, you can choose accordingly. And here, that is an information, or there's a page here, which is called as grader information. So the grader information will give all the details to the grader, how they have to grade this SAQ. So if you are a chairperson for any module, especially with the MBBS faculty, so if you expect faculty to grade this SAQ, if you're using SAQ, by the way, SAQ in a particular pattern, or you expect some keywords from the students, so those keywords you can tap here. So in my case, I'm going to say Moodle. That's a keyword which I expect the faculty to have a look. And then I click on Save Changes. So this keyword will be appearing to the grader. Okay. And I'm sorry, I missed something here. So if you want the students to have an attachment, or if you want them to attach something, you have an option here. You can say if you want to allow them to attach something, you can allow them to attach things on the quiz itself. All right, so let me save that. Okay, so I've got 2 pages. The page number 1 is an instruction. The page number 2 is SAQ. Now I'm going to add a few questions because I wanted to show you the sequential thing. I have kept some questions here. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And yeah, I think that's good. So I'm going to come over here and then I say that add this questions to the quiz. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. We have page number 1 with the instruction, page number 2 with an SAQ, and page number 3 with short answer, multiple choice, and then we have questions like till 9 pages. Now here, after you set the question, if you wanted to set this as like 25 or 35, you can give it here. So here is a place where you're going to assign the maximum mark. Unlike assignments, there's no option inside the setting area to do this. It comes when you set the paper, when you add the questions. So I'm going to click on save. So my question is ready. Now I'm going to start the exam. Okay, I hope this is it's clear till here. Okay, now what happens is you set the question, you are at home, and on the day and time the student comes to the computer and they're going to start taking the exam. So let's go back to the student view. Now as a student, I came here to my browser. I saw that that is class test 3 for me. So when I click on class test 3, it tells me then what exactly the description the faculty has given. Now here, the Moodle itself gives this option. Attention, it is prohibited to change the device during the attempt of the quiz. Please note that after the beginning of the quiz, any connections of the quiz, so all the details, it says that if you move from one to the other, then it is blocked. So that description is given by the Moodle. So please instruct the students, or please give guidelines to the students to read each and every steps which they see on the screen. Now, when a next step is it is asking me the password, so I'm giving the password. So when I click on start attempt, the paper opens. Now, here what happens is this is an instruction sheet. So that's why I see I here. I don't have a count. Instead, I see an I. So this is the first page which I'm seeing. Now I'm going to click on next. Now, the moment I started, you see that the timer started going. Okay, so this is like it started. Now this is an SAQ. So I'm going to type things here. My answer is, and then I type few things. Okay, now the student want to copy this and paste it. No, it says not possible. Okay, he goes back to Google. Maybe his friend sent a WhatsApp message and say that, okay, this is the answer. So he comes back with the WhatsApp message and he tries to paste it. It's just not possible because you had activated the browser security feature that's working out well. Now, let's go to the next page. So when I come to the next page, you see this. There's an ash color kind of background which has come, and then it says that answer is saved. So when he comes back here, it is not permitting me to go back. So this is what the sequential mode is all about. So now I have an only way to move forward. So I'm going to pick this and say next answer. Okay, now when I'm coming back to previous page, it says not possible because it's freezed. So that's the sequential mode. Okay, now in this case, a student missed a question. So is it possible for him to come and redo it? Not possible. So when I click on this, it says not possible because it's a sequential mode. So every step which the student needs to take, or he should be carefully handling it, because once he clicks on next page, then he cannot come back and change the option. So this is how a sequential quiz has been set, unlike a kind of free method. Free method, this is right here. So if you come back to the class test 2, if you see here, this is free method. So you can go to the question number 3, question number 2, question number 1. No worries. I mean, there's nothing is stopping him. Whereas in this exam, there is no way he can go to previous exam or previous page, or he can paste it. So these are the beautiful security features which you can add to the quiz option. All right. Now I think I started at 6:05 and it is 6:33. I think almost like 28 minutes to explain this. I've got good questions, a good number of questions coming up here. I will answer these questions at the end. That's the last 15 minutes. I will answer these questions. Okay. So good. So we completed the first objective of our session. So this is what we have completed. We've taken exactly 30 minutes to complete the objective of how to create a quiz. And now let's begin with the gradebook setup. All right, so here we go. To set up a gradebook, again, we need to come back to the faculty mode. So when you come back to the faculty mode, okay, as a faculty, what I've done is I created just some contents. I just pasted some contents. I've got beautiful lessons created. I've got clusters very well organized. Everything is done. But when the student goes to his gradebook, okay, let's go back to the gradebook and see what happens. So when the student comes to his grades, this is what he sees. He don't understand which is class test. He don't understand which is assignment, which is like practical, which is like mid-semester. So there is a point where the student can get confused, or they probably will come up with saying that, okay, I was not aware that this is what this is how it was set. So to avoid these kind of confusions, the best way to do is like you need to start, or before you create your assignments. I know we're in the mid phase, but the best practice is before we started the assignment. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I missed something about the quiz. Okay, just got back to my mind. All right, here we were talking about concurrent access blocking. I didn't explain you that. I'm really sorry about that. So coming back to the quiz, I am going to attempt the quiz, and when I click on the start attempt, this is what it comes to me. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a new window. Let's say that I'm going to open a new window or a new computer, and I'm going to mygmu.ac.ae. And let me just come back to my previous window. Okay. So here what he's doing is he's just simply closing the quiz, and he's going to a new computer or a new device, and he's going to open the quiz again. So let me just take you back. Okay, here. So this is a new computer. Let's assume that. I'm going to use my credentials again. So when I log in, oh, sorry. All right, so when I log in, what happens is it takes me to the computer window, and I can go to the course and open it. So I know the course address, so I'm going to straight to the course. So when I come to the page, so this is this was my course. Now, when the student comes back here and he tries to open the window, it shows the screen for him. You are trying to access the attempt from a computer or a new browser, and this is not the first time, so please contact your teacher. Now let's go back to the teacher view. So in the teacher view, if you see here the class test 3, if you come back to class test 3, you can see how many attempts are progressing. You can click on the attempts, and when you click on the attempts, you get to see the list of students who's taking the attempts at the moment. You can click on review attempt, and when you click on the review attempt, you will see a block coming up here. Allow the student to continue with using another device. So until and unless this is given, the student is going to see this error. It is not a technical glitch or technical error. it is because you have activated the concurrent access blocking in the quiz. So I'm going to say yes for it. Now what happens is when I come back here as a student, if I refresh the window, I will be able to proceed. So this is how the concurrent access work. So if you come back to the review, so let me just do it again. If you come back to the student attempt review option, you will see a block like this. And if you allow the student to continue with the new device, then only they can start and they can continue. Otherwise, they may not be able to do it. Okay. Apologize for missing this point. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's start with the gradebook. So what happens in the gradebook is, I was telling you that before you start the course, it's always wise to keep the gradebook organized like something like this. I'm not saying this is the best, something similar to this. You can beautifully give what is an assignment, how much is going to be considered, how much you're going to take for class tests, how much you're going to take for lab activities. If you have presentation, that can be considered. If you have mid-semester, yes. And then I'm giving the total here. So this is how this is the best way to do a gradebook setup. I mean, the organization of gradebook. This is exactly according to my course syllabus of information technology. I have prepared this. Okay, now let's learn how to do this. Now I'm going to the administration, and then under administration of the course, I would find something called gradebook. Now, if I come to the gradebook page, this is what I get to see. I see a lot of things here. These are all the activities which I have added in my course. Now, how do I categorize them? So you can add a category. So when you click on add a category, it will ask you what is the name you would like to give. So what I have done here is I have used my course syllabus. I'm going to use my course syllabus. So in my course syllabus, I have this assessment elements, or the distribution of mark for my course. So in this, my first is coursework. So I'm going to copy that from my course syllabus. I'm going to paste it. Now, at this point of time, I'm just creating the main categories. Okay. So after you create a category name, if you wanted to give a category total with a specific value, I can do that here. So I'm going to say that the category total, when I take the print, I wanted to see that as coursework in bracket 25. So I wanted to see that in my Excel sheet. I will show you how do you export the marks. And after doing that, I'm going to make save change. Okay. Now what happens here is, after giving these two fields, when I create a category, you can see that the coursework category is created and the coursework. Okay, so don't get confused about this is not the total. This is just the label for me to refer or to differentiate what exactly is this category when I take a printout of it. Okay, so that has been done. Now I'm going to add a new category. So the second category is going to be class test. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to give category name as class test, go to the category total, show more, category total name. I'm going to say class test, and the class test, I feel it's, yes, 25. So 25, okay. And then I click on save. So my second category is set. So here we go. We have two categories, and then let's keep one more. Because I wanted to give a subcategory also. So that's the reason I'm going to do it. So in my second, in my third category, I'm going to give the label as mid-semester. And then I'm going to say that the mid-semester total is going to be 30. So I'm going to say this, and then in brackets. So these are labels, okay? Don't get confused. It's not total, it's just a label. Now I click on save changes. Now what I do here is, or after you complete this, you get to see the three categories are getting created along with the main category called information technology. So this is my subject name, and then inside that I have got three main categories. Now, in my case of mid-semester, I have got two components like practical and an end of course exam. So if you wanted to create a subcategory for any of the categories, like how we created this three categories, we can create subcategories for the main ones. So let's say in my coursework, I have a presentation. So I'm going to say presentation. And the presentation is going to carry like a 10 mark. So I'm going to make it as a category name as 10 marks. And then I'm going to click on, this is what we used to do. Don't straight go click and save changes. You need to go to parent category and choose which category this category belongs to. I'm going to say that the presentation is part of coursework, so I've selected the category coursework. Please don't directly go click save changes. Go to parent category if you have a if this is a subcategory you're creating, and click on save changes. So now when you do that, you can see that the presentation is inside the coursework category. So this is how the presentation comes in. Now, like that, you can beautifully create multiple categories. Now, the advantage of what I mentioned in my first point, or the reason why I said is like you need to create the gradebook first before you create any activities in your course, is because when I come back to my course, if I go to add an activity or resource, if I choose let it be anything, I'm going to say it's an assignment. Now, when I come to the assignment, it shows me these are all being explained, and this, when you come to the category, you get to see to which category you need to map this. So if you do it while you create the assignments or activities, then it's easy for us to track where the mapping should be done in the initial phase. That will be helping us to reduce a lot of workload towards the end of the course. Now, if you feel that, okay, I didn't do it, now what can I do? Yes, there's a provision for that. You can get back to your course gradebook setup. Now, choose the activities. I can choose like these. Okay, let me just choose class test. Okay, I'm going to choose class test. Okay, class test 2, class test 1, class test 3. And then what I do is I can go to choose, and then I can say that where I wanted to map this. So select the grade items and paste it, and then and move it. So when you do that, you get to see that it's getting moved to the class test category. So this is how you create categories. This is how you map it. To map the category or to map the grade item to the category, there are two methods. The right method is before you start the course, the first thing is you plan your course categories according to the course syllabus. And then when you add an assignment or when you add a quiz, so what you need to do is you need to go to the grade, and then you need to select and then choose the grade category, whichever it belongs to, and then you can map it there. Okay. And the second method, okay, I forgot. So in that case, you can come back to the gradebook setup. You can select which are the categories or which are the grade items which you would like to map, and then come down, and then you can say that move the selected items to which category. You can choose it. So automatically the system will move that items to the category which you have selected. Okay. So in my presentation, I have selected lecture 21, so it goes to the presentation. So this is how the category and the grade items are mapped. Now, if you ask me what more do you have for me today, yes, I have something more. I mean, yes, which is very important too. That's called as calculation part of gradebook. So when you come to the calculation part of gradebook, what happens is here in this example, I have given 100 mark and a 10 and a 10 and a 30. Okay, and then it is giving me 150, but my requirement here is 25. So how do I bring that? So I can apply a calculation to do this, or you can have multiple queries, like how do I take the best two or the best three, something like that. To do a best 2 selection or best 3 selection, first of all, the maximum of all the grade items, that is like 1, 2, 3, and 4, should be same. So in this case, first let me explain you how to do the best 3, and then we will go for the best 2, and then we will go for the calculation. Okay. So in this example, I've got 4 grade items, and my category requires the best of 2 out of this. So I go to first, what I need to do is I need to unify. I need to give a common maximum score for each of these. So I go to my lesson first, and then I'm going to say edit, and I go to the grade, and then I say that this is going to be on 10. So this is set. And now when I come back here in the gradebook setup, and if I refresh the page, I see that my lesson is ready with the 10. Now I have the challenge only for class test 3, so I'm going to the class test 3, sorry. Let me just do it like this. Okay, I'm going to the class test 3, and when I come to the class test 3, so if you ask me where do I go and make changes for my mark, you need to go to the administration, edit quiz, because I said in the beginning, it is not available under the settings, it is under adding quiz option. So here I'm going to make it as 10 and then save here. Now come back here, and when I refresh the window, you get to see it's on 10. Okay, so all is set. Now what I wanted to do is I wanted to take the best 2 out of this. Okay, so how do I do that is, you need to go to the title of the category and click on this edit function. When you click on that edit function, it will show you a window where we gave the name and we gave the total label and stuff and things like that. Here, if you go to the category, grade category section, the initial window is going to just give you the name. But if you go for show more, you get to see an option called drop lowest. So I've got 4 items here, and I'm going to drop the lowest 2. Now what happens is, if you click on save changes, you can see that even though I have 4 grade items in my category clusters, I'm getting a total of 20 because I'm dropping the least 2. Okay, so this is how you can take the best. I mean, the conceptual wise, it is the other way. In Moodle, that's the only way to do it. Okay, so you have to go to this edit section, and then when you come to the edit section, you will find an option under category called show more, and here you can say how many grade items you would like to drop. You can just simply save that changes, and then it will be added to your category. So this is how you do the best 2 or best 3 calculation part. Now to explain the other concept, what I'm going to do is I'm going to map my assignments 1, 2, 3, 4 onto my please excuse me, I didn't create an assignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to map this to coursework. So I selected that. Now I'm going to say that it's going to be part of coursework. So there we go. This is created. Now, okay, again, this is a confusion phase, because when I put it like this, the student will get confused whether it's a coursework or how the total is coming. If you have a scenario like this, again, don't hesitate to go and hit on category, and then simply create a category called assignment. So you'll say assignment, and yep, and then you'll say the pattern category is going to be coursework. Okay, and then when you click on save changes, the assignment category is going to be mapped under coursework. There you go. Now you can do it. What you can do is you can select assignments 1, 2, 3, 4, go directly to move selection, and then say map to assignment category. So when you do this, you can see that your gradebook is getting well organized, and it will be very clear for the student. Okay, now let's work on the assignment part. So what I'm going to do here is okay, I forgot to keep the label for assignment. Okay, now the reason I'm doing that is because I wanted to show you how it comes later, the difference between the labels which I have given here and the label which I'm not giving up here. So cool. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give a formula for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this 40 to 20. So how do I do that is, we're not going to hit on the title. This time we're going to hit on the total part, and then we're going to say edit calculation. So when I click on edit calculation, it gives me a window to add my formula. Like all the Excel sheet which we do back and forth, rather than doing an Excel sheet multiple times, what we can do is at once in ever in your course duration, you can do this and it will be all automated. So here, I need to give a calculation. I need to give a formula. So to do that, first of all, I need to give a name for the items in my gradebook. So I'm now going to, because it's a time factor, I'm not going to explain the whole thing. You can follow the exact same thing for all the grade items. In this case, for the assignment total, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a label for assignment A2, A1 for assignment 1, A3 for assignment 3, A4 for assignment 4. Okay, there is no hardcore rule saying that you need to put A1, A2, A3, A4. You can put Suraj, you can put XYZ, ABC, whatever you would like to keep. For my understanding, for my convenience, I'm going to give a label A1, A2, A3, A4. Okay. Now, after I give the label, I'm going to click the add ID. So that's a step number one. Before you start the formula, you need to make sure that this is ready. Now you come back here and you will say equal to. So you put an equal to symbol and you put a C bracket, and then you put 2 square bracket, and then you type A1, close the square bracket, plus, open square bracket, A2, and close the square bracket, plus, because when you give a label, even though you didn't give that square, that's how Moodle accepts it, okay? So you should have the same as it should be as same as what you see here. So I'm going to say then again, it's going to be 2 square bracket, A4, close 2 square bracket, and then finally I'm going to close it, and then I'm going to say that it's going to be divided by 2, because this is on 40, which I'm going to convert it to 20. Okay. Now I'll click on save changes. Now when I click on save changes, what happens is immediately what happens is you will come back here and see that it's 40 still. It is 40 because it requires a small kind of additional settings to change this value, but your formula is good. If you didn't have it, if you had any problem with the formula, then you shouldn't have proceeded to the screen. So after you complete with your calculation part, you need to go. So here is where we started with the formula, okay? And now after you completed the formula, you need to go to the assignment, and that's the title, and then click on edit setting. And now here in the edit setting, you will see the same functionalities which I have explained, the name and the category total, etc., etc., etc. So here, what I need to do is I need to go and open the category total, and then I'm going to say that show more, and here I should change to 20. Okay, and then when I click on save, it will be automatically saved. So you can ask me, okay, you should have done it before. No, it won't allow me to do that. Why? Okay, let's see an example here, okay? So I could successfully do an assignment change of total because I applied a formula. So I am not applying any formula in my coursework category. So when I go hit on the edit settings, if I go here, I go to see, I see the category total, I see show more, and here it's freezed because I'm not applying any formula for the category called coursework. If I had applied a formula, then it would have allowed me to change this to any desired value. So this is how you create a gradebook. And if I wanted to cross check how the students can see it, so once you complete this, so if okay, I have given you an outline. Okay, now you need to practice this. I cannot give you a complete I cannot set a whole course with a given duration of time. I wanted to do it together because we are starting the assessment part, so that's why I did it together, and this goes hand in hand. Now you need to work on other elements of your assessment, but I gave an example, so copy that to the other elements. Okay. Now the next part, what I need to do is I need to see how the students see my gradebook. So if you want to see that, if you go onto the top, you will see an option called user report. If you pull on user report, it is not available for me because I'm an administrator. No, this report is very much available for all the faculty members. So you can go to the user report and you can see what is Mr. Surat's grade. Okay, if you see that, here we go. Here we see the categories which we created. Here we see the grades. I don't have any grades which is being published, so that's why I'm not seeing it. And if you are playing with the categories, if you before releasing, you wanted to see, you wanted to do all the experiments, yes, you're free to do. Now, let me go back to the Suraj account. Okay, so this is like I'm going to go back as a student. So when the student comes back here under course administration, if you clicks on the grade, what happens is he will see exactly what has been organized in the gradebook. Now, how I wanted to stop this. I don't want him to see the grades like not till a particular date and time. So how do I do that? Is I should go to the gradebook setup, and inside the gradebook setup, you will see a function on the top, which is just below the action called edit. And if you say hide it, then the gradebook, which is created by you, won't be visible to the student. Let's go back to the student and see whether he's seeing that. Okay, when I refresh my window, I don't see it because this has been hidden by the faculty. Okay, so that's the reason I'm not seeing any grades here. Probably if you have activated the quiz score to be displayed, yes, he get to see that. But all the structure which you have planned is not going to be available because you have hidden that right from here. You can hide it on the top, or if you want a specific category to be displayed and to be removed from him, you can do that. So say in this example, I haven't completed the assignment grading part. So I wanted to hide it. I can go to the assignment, I click on hide. So the rest of the things will be visible for the students, is going to be visible for the students, whereas the assignment is not going to be. Let's see as a student back. Okay, I'm coming to the category of grade, and what I see is I see the coursework, I see the class tests, I see the mid-semester, but I don't see the assignment because that's been disabled by the faculty. Okay, so this is how you create, this is the best practice to create, to work with a grade category. Now, finally, if you wanted to show the students the total, okay, since now you know what is hiding and unhiding, you can apply this to the totals even. So when I wanted to hide total, you can hide the total. So rest of the things will be visible for the students, only the total won't be visible. So you can do that, hiding and unhiding of totals as well. Now, if you wanted to do a final formula for the course, that what you need to do is you need to come to the tab course total, go to edit calculation, and when you come here, this time you're not going to give labels for the grade items, rather you're going to give labels for the elements of your assessment. So which is like, I had these many elements: course test, coursework, class test, mid-semester. These are my assessment elements. So against the total of each, I get to see a box. So I'm going to give M for mid-semester, CT for class test, and then I'm going to say, okay, assignment. I don't need assignment. I need a coursework because the assignment is going to be anyways calculated to the coursework. So I'm going to say a CW for the coursework. Now, if you have, you can do the same for the subcategories. Again, as I told you, with the limited time, I'm not be able to explain on or detail you on that. So here what I've done is I have labeled my core categories or main categories, and then I have added the label. And after that, I'll say equal to, my first is class test. So I'm going to put 2 bracket, CT, close to bracket, plus open to bracket, CW, that's coursework, plus I have given M for mid-semester, so M, and then close the bracket. I'm not putting a C bracket here because the formula is very straight, plus, plus, plus. And then when I click on save changes, it's going to save, it's going to show, okay, here, okay, let's see what is wrong here. I have given M, CT, and CW, okay. Let's do once again. equal to, okay, I know the problem. I had given capital. So I'm going to give this, these are some kind of errors which you can encounter. Okay, so I'm going to say open bracket, CW in capital, close the bracket, plus, open the bracket, and then CT in capital, close the bracket, plus. The mid semester M is in capital. So I'm going to say M and then close the bracket. I think it should be working fine now. Okay. Yes, we did. So the formula for the course is done. Now I'll go to the top. That is my course title. And here we will go back to the category total. And here I'll say that my course is going to be not in 350. It's going to be 100 because I have made formula for my subcategories. And this is how it is. And now when I click on Save Changes, yes, your course book is ready. You have the total right here. Now, all this is set. Final method. How do I import grades to Excel? You go to administration of the gradebook and you get to see export, and you will find exports for Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so it will ask you what all things I need to add. Okay, this is where it is going to help me. The total label which I had given before is going to help me, because see here, I've got class test 25. Okay, so I know this is required. I know this is required. But when I come to the assignment, can you see? I didn't give the label that time, so that's why it is showing me total category total. So please give the label of totals when you create the category. That's very much important when you export it. So I'm going to see if presentation, I'm going to give for coursework, I'm going to get for mid-semester, and then I hit on export. When I do that in few minutes, you would see that the gradebook or the Excel sheet is going to be ready, which is going to give me a percentage value. I don't have marks here, of course, because it's just a dummy course. So the student name, the registration number is his username, and then the marks. So this is exactly how you can export the marks. Okay, so I'm almost done and the time is up. So I'm going to stop here. What I haven't covered here in this session is, I know you all know how to import the grade items from Excel. That I haven't covered here in this session. Those who want to know about it, I think there are some works which I've done on it. I can share with you, but if you wanted to quickly know how to do that, first of all, anything external you have to create a grade item. So go to Gradebook setup, and what you need to do is you need to hit on grade item, not grade category. So in this case, I'm not creating any categories. I have an external grade item which I need to add the category, which I need to add to my gradebook. So let's say mid-semester or something. So I'm going to have mid-semester theory mark with me. So I'm going to say exam score or MCQ. I'm going to say MCQ score. And what I do is I need to say it belongs to which category. So I can click on the category, and when I click on save, it shows me the grade item in my gradebook. It will be visible for the student, but it won't be available in the course page. Now, after you do this, you can go to the administration of the grade, and then you can hit on the import and then paste it from Excel. When you paste it from the Excel, please do remember that you need to have something like this. Okay, this is the sheet example of a sheet which comes up. 1 second. Okay, for example, this is like kind of example. So what you need to do is you should start only from the registration number, and then you can copy till the last student mark, come back to the place, the data box, paste it, and then you say upload grades. So that will give you a confirmation these are the students. And then what you need to do is you need to map these label to, so be it a registration number, be it a username, map the first field label to the username. Okay, and then you can upload the grades, You don't need anything of this. You can see that this is going to be part of MCQ because this is go for it and upload grades. I haven't thought, I mean, I didn't prepare for this, so that's why I was very quick here in the uploading grade part. This is for the people who has recently joined. Anyways, I am starting up here. Now we will open the mics for all the participants. I know it was a bit tough one today. So let's open the mic for participants to ask questions. Before I open my mic, I would like to answer a few questions, which has come to the box. The first question. Okay. What is a feedback option in? I have a question from Iman, Dr. Iman, I guess, yes, about the informative skills, the feedback option. I think I can answer you over the mic. Browser security cannot block the concurrent browsing and search. Now, the browser security is that's from Dr. Said. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Said, for the question. So the browser security won't allow the students to copy and paste anything from any tab. They need to type it. So that's a beautiful option for SAQ. I've got a question from Dr. Pradima from College of Nursing. In the browser security, student can't see Google instead of copying paste. Student can read. Okay, Dr. Pradima, yes, I got you, Pradima. I know I got your question, Dr. Pradima. So we are working with something called Safe Exam Browser for preventing the students to access any other browser or something. Currently, it is not possible. The browser security, only copy and paste can be prevented. I've got a question from Dr. Noham. I don't think it is important to. Okay, I think I'll take that question later. I have a question from Dr. Imans asking, is the description page in course book? Yes, it will be shuffled. Yes, Dr. Iman, good point. If you add the description page, it will be shuffled along with the quiz. I have a question from Dr. One of the doctors. You copied question from where? I mean, question bank or no, Dr. Reza, I copied the question from the question bank. I have a question from Dr. Hiba. How can I give the student question basket? I think you need to share it with the student through a forum discussion or something like that, doctor. I have a question from Dr. Noha saying that in sequential mode, if the students didn't answer the question and shift other question, can return back to the unanswered question. Dr. Noha, no, they cannot. They cannot come back to the question. I have a question from Dr. Miral and Mr. Suresh. Now we are going to use Moodle for some metrics. What is the proper fair time for each MCQ? And Dr. Miral, that's something which is very much academic. I think technically I cannot answer that. Yes, Dr. Hamid, it is recorded. How to include the marks of practice quiz in Gradebook? Doctor, you can, Dr. Iman, you can mark the marks of, you can do the mapping of what I had explained about the Gradebook. Okay, now the mic is open to all other participants for your beautiful questions. No questions? Are you all hearing me? I mean,
thank you, Suraj.
You're welcome, Doctor.
Dr. Janita.
Thank you, Suraj. We got the information. We have to practice and check how it works out. Thank you.
All right, that should be Dr. Radhika, right? Yeah, thank you, Dr. Radhika. Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Suraj. Just try practicing it and get back to you.
Okay, Dr. Prabhu.
Mr. Suraj, is it both the recordings will be available last Google Calendar plus this one.
Say that again, doctor.
Now, we want the recordings of this one plus the previous one calendar, so we can view whenever we have a doubt.
Doctor, as I mentioned in my email, all the registered participants are going to receive the recording of this session onto the registered email address, doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome,
Mr. Suraj, just one question from my side. The students cannot do that. They cannot switch the device for writing the test, but they can simply the student is writing test on one device and he's opening the lecture on the other. That is we can do, right?
Of course, that is possible, doctor.
Oh.
Dr. Lamis, do you have any question? No questions? Dr. Hiba, I have one second. Doctor, 1 second. I have a question in assignment. The student don't get see my comments. Okay, Dr. Hiba, so what you need to tell the student is you need to ask the student to go to the assignment, and when they click on the assignment link, they will get to see the feedback. Okay, yes, any other questions? I'm sorry, I stopped someone in between.
Yes, Mr. Suraj, please. If I have my questions in a Word file, like the multiple choice questions with the answers in a Word file, and I want to import them on Moodle, so I don't have question bank. So what should I do? I think I had viewed one video that I should change my Word file into a plain text, and I should put it in a specific format to be able to upload it in the question section. Am I right? Because if I'm not having question bank, then my questions are in a Word file outside, and then I'll start to copy these questions. So there are certain steps to be done to allow the Moodle to take up these questions, right, in a specific format. Am I right?
Exactly, Dr. Lamis. Yes, you're right.
So this means that if I had all my questions in a Word file, then I have to keep them like in capital letters, something like this I had viewed on a certain PowerPoint presentation, and then I have to import them all through the Moodle after transferring them to a plain text, I think, right?
Exactly, Dr. Lamis. Yes.
Okay. And for the short questions. For the short questions, I will create it. How I will do that?
For the short question, you have both the methods. You can have a bulk upload, and also you can have a kind of manual method. So the manual method I had explained to you in my example.
Yes.
Okay. The bulk option, yes, I would try to give a kind of session on that. Because the next part, when you are practicing the exam, this is what it is going to come. So I'm going to plan sooner a session on it, Dr. Lamis.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Very valid question, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Suraj. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Suraj, hi. Dr. Pankaj, how are you?
I'm good, doctor. Thank you so much. Yeah, hi, doctor.
Can you do a shortcut in which we can convert, for example, what Madam was asking, the questions which are in normal Word format? There's some way in which we can automatically save into the Alken format, because formatting every question to an Alken format sometimes becomes very time consuming. So there's any way we can directly save it as a Alken format, especially if you're looking on Mac?
If you're asking me any shortcuts for it, no. For example, when you say importing question to Moodle, there are multiple ways of doing it. Okay, doctor. So, and in multiple option of uploading questions, they are giving some specific format. For example, Moodle, like there is kind of.
Like we're looking at alkane. So alkane format, for example, I'm using now. Actually, I've opened a Microsoft Word document. I'm trying to save it as a text txt. So which coding I have to use? Because it's asking for which code you want to use for that.
All right, here. So this is what it is, doctor. So if you wanted to, so this is a format which you need to do. You need to give the stem without any number, and then followed by the stem, you should have capital letter dot
No,
the
okay.
object one,
I understand that.
Yeah.
But if our Word document is not like this, and we're saving it when it says save, so we have to save it as which format? So that's what I'm asking you, because I don't think it will go as a.
You have to save it as a plain text with a UTF-8 encoding.
That is what I'm asking. So basically UTF-8, huh? Wait, 1 second. UTF-8. Okay.
All right. So, Dr. Lamas, this is how the question format has to be kept. Okay. I will try to create. I mean, I have a format which I can send it across to all the participants about the formatting. But this is a quick note of how do we keep the question format, Dr. Lamas.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Suraj. But I would recommend if you can please even, no need to arrange like a session, but just if you can give us the link or something for a small presentation, because right now maybe most of us are not having that many questions that we are going to upload in the final, in case that the final will be online also. So sometimes we may have 80 questions, 60 questions, which we have to prepare. So in that case, we need to understand clearly how is the best method to import a bulk multiple choice questions on Moodle. So I would excuse you if you can just arrange a small session or even send us the link of a website that you feel it's good for demonstrating that thing, then it will be more helpful for us at the time being, because all of us, if the situation remains the same, will have to import almost 60 or 70 questions multiple choice on Moodle. So if you can do this, I'll be very grateful for you. Thank you so much.
I will do that, Lamas, Dr. Lamas. I will definitely do that, Dr. Lamas.
Thank you so much, my dear, and sorry for the interruption. Thank you so much for your effort. Thank you.
You're welcome, doctor. So is there any other questions?
Sir, I have a question.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Actually, in regard to the restriction part you spoke about while setting the MCQs, you said if the student happens to use the computer, two computers, electronic devices simultaneously, if you switch over from one computer to other computer, how does it recognize, sir, actually, to get freezed automatically?
Because there is something called session, which is established when he uses a browser. So the moment the Moodle understands that it is a new session, it will terminate or it will block the concurrent access. Technically, that's how it happens. So if you terminate a current window, then there will be a session which is getting terminated. So the Moodle understands that the student is trying to is having some problem. So accordingly, it will act and then block the concurrent access. Dr. Watson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions, doctors? All right. So since this few 14 to 15 days, I'm getting a lot of questions on a lot of things, and I just wanted to give you a take-home message. The message is, let's do a smart work, because I see a lot of duplication happening. And if this kind of duplication is happening in the current situation which we are experiencing, it's going to really going to increase our workload. So I see that there are some works which has been duplicated, because based on the calls and mails which I received, I seriously feel that we should really do a smart work, and that will avoid doubling and tripling and multiple times of doing the same work. That's just a small take-home message which I wanted to give at the end. Thank you so much, doctors, for joining me for this session.
Right. Suraj, you want to give me a call now?
Thank you.
Okay, doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Mr. Suraj.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, doctor.
Thank you so much, sir.
Suraj, I'm staying on.
Can I get later, Doc?
How late, Suraj? Can you call me?
Yeah, I'll do that, Doctor.
No, but when?
Doctor, just give me a few minutes, Doctor.
Yeah.